Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is the best video I have ever filmed. I want to introduce our daughter, Nora. She's all cuddled up with mommy right now in this beautiful outfit that was sent to us by Brogan Tate. If you guys follow her, she has an amazing channel here on YouTube. Lives in the UK. I'll link her below if you aren't already following her. But anyway, she sent us this gorgeous outfit for her. It's one of my absolute favorites that she has. I was so excited when she started fitting into it. So Nora is 3 weeks and 2 days old today, and we have been settling into new parenthood pretty well. It has been a roller coaster to say the least. So she came 10 days past her due date. Her due date was October 20th. And she came when I was 41 weeks and 3 days, so on October 30th. And which is actually the average, like women who aren't induced, the average first time mom goes to 41 weeks and 3 days. So I really was doing pretty well with waiting for her to come until just those last few days. Partially that was because I had her on a Wednesday afternoon and labor started for me and stopped over and over, but it started up for the first time on like Sunday night. And so I was having contractions regularly on Sunday night, and then they quieted down overnight, and then they started back up on Monday, and then they stopped on Monday night, and then they started back up on Tuesday, and they quieted down on Tuesday night for like a couple of hours, and then I went into real active labor with her around 3:30 a.m. on Wednesday morning. So it was a long, drawn out labor. And then because of her position had been really good throughout my whole pregnancy, but probably because I had been contracting on and off for 3 days before I had her, by the time that I, really got into real labor, she was in a horrible position. And so it was a long, really, really hard labor. But I did it, we did it, and it was amazing. And, sorry, I feel like I have something in my throat. I will definitely share more about my birth story in due time, but it was a really incredible experience. Hard work, intense, but a really, really incredible experience. And it was so amazing when they pulled her out. Well, I should say when I pushed her out, which I did very quickly. I pushed her out and they put her on my chest, and I felt like they put a 3-month-old on my chest. I was expecting such a little baby because my whole pregnancy, my midwives had been saying, she's pretty little, she's healthy, but she's little. And she was 8 pounds, 9 ounces. So she was not that little, and 21.5 inches. And so she's still so small. But as far as newborns go, that's a pretty hefty newborn. So that was amazing. And so since then, the hardest part has been my recovery, and that has been really hard. When she came out with a nuchal hand, which means her hand was up by her head. And so I was pushing out her head, her hand, her arm, her elbow. And so because of that, I've had a more extensive recovery. And I can talk more about that later, but that has been definitely really challenging. Like, we're on week 3. I'm still on at least half a day of bed rest every single day. For 2 full weeks I was on bed rest, and now I'm still, so it's just been a really long recovery, and some days are harder than others. And the reason why I'm pulled together right now is because my sister actually just left. She was here with her baby for the past, it's Friday, she came on Monday, so she was here for 5 days, 4 nights. And before she left this morning, we took some photos. Nora was in this beautiful little dress. I have a little bit of footage that I took right in the middle of the photo shoot, so I'll insert that here. But my sister Allie, if you don't know, is a photographer, and she specializes in newborn photography. So we had been talking about doing a little mini photo shoot in her nursery this whole trip, but you know how it is with 2 babies in the house, because she has a 9.5-week-old, and so she has a, how old is he now? He was born in late August. So like 3 months, He's about 3 months. So anyway, with 2 babies in the house, just things didn't always go exactly to plan, to say the least. So loving her and snuggling her and like being her mom has been the best thing of my whole entire life. I'm so in love with her. She's just a sweet baby. Oh, I just love her so much. However, I don't want to paint an unrealistic picture. It has been hard. The sleep deprivation, she's actually a pretty good sleeper, but it doesn't matter. I mean, just being up all the time is hard. It wears you out, you know. So both Riley and I are tired for sure. And breastfeeding has been extremely challenging. So again, this is something I can talk more about, but just briefly, she, when she was born, she was diagnosed by my midwife with a lip and a tongue tie. So you can look it up. I don't want to waste too much time, but basically she had a really extremely severe lip and tongue tie, and it was making breastfeeding almost impossible. She really couldn't latch because she couldn't open her mouth because of the ties, and it was causing a lot of pain for me, and it really wasn't working anyway. And so we did go to a pediatric dentist, and we had the ties revised, which is a whole thing that I'll have to talk about at some point. But the procedure went super, super well. She handled it very, very well. We went to a place that uses a laser, and there's reasons why we wanted to do that. And anyway, it worked out really well for us. And it changed, it changed her latch, and it changed our ability. It was like night and day, like instantly. It was so much easier to nurse. Which was amazing. And so I have been breastfeeding her for the past 3 weeks, but it has been a struggle and a fight to do so. And so we have met with lactation consultants and things like that, and we're really getting there. It's been really exciting to finally get to the point where things are getting easier. There's much less pain, and sometimes no pain on my part, which is like, praise the Lord. And she's gaining weight really well, and everything's, you know, now it's starting, we're kind of on track again. But you know, that has been challenging and definitely a journey. So between figuring out feeding her and my own recovery and the sleep deprivation, it's not been a cakewalk, but it's been like the best thing I've ever done in my life at the same time. I just love her so much. It's like unbelievable. She's so sweet. She has little blue eyes, and they're really light for a newborn. They're not that gray. They're really like a blue color. Both Riley and I have blue eyes, so we imagined that we would have a blue-eyed baby. And her little hair is sort of, I don't know, maybe dirty blonde. Sometimes it looks more blonde, but it's kind of looks like light brown right now. Her eyebrows are blonde though, so we don't know. We'll have to see how she turns out. But she just loves napping on mommy like this. Oh, best thing ever. So I've been so grateful to be able to really just rest and enjoy her. My parents were here for, I don't know, like 5 days or so after she was born, and that was extremely helpful in those fresh early days when I was really in bed 24/7, to have people helping us with things like, I don't know, laundry and food and things like that. And then we've had support from local friends and Riley's side of the family with food and, you know, things. And then my sister, Riley, went back to work full-time this week. Last week he was doing half days still, and this week he's back 9 to 5, which, to be honest, the first day he went back, when he left in the morning, I just sobbed. Just sobbed. The hormones are a whole other conversation, but I just sobbed because it's just very, I think many of you can relate, it's just extremely overwhelming, because when you have a newborn, doing actually anything feels like a whole marathon. Like getting up and using the restroom, brushing your teeth, washing your face is like this huge feat. And so when Riley's here, of course, he can hold her, he can rock her, or whatever. He can help me by making me food or something like that. But when he's not here, obviously that can't happen. So anyway, he went back to work, and but Allie, my sister, was here all week, and so even though she had a baby, the company was so nice. And so I went out on my first outing while she was here with her, other than just like appointments that we've had for the baby or for me. So that's the story of how we've been doing. This is precious little Nora. We're obsessed with her, like seriously so obsessed with her. She's just a sweet, sweet little thing. Loves to cuddle, loves to eat, loves to sleep. She's a solid newborn. So yeah, I don't know that there's very much more to say. I had thought about trying to sit down and do like a proper sit down video in my office, but my office looks like a bomb went off and I have no energy to clean that up. So instead, I'm just holding my handheld like vlogging camera, but I don't think anyone is gonna be too bothered by it. But I just wanted to do a little check-in and introduce you to my precious daughter, Nora. Her middle name is Sunderland, S-U-N-D-E-R-L-A-N-D, which is also my middle name and my mom's middle name. And that name goes right up the family tree. Ooh, little startle reflex. It originated as a surname. And what's really cool is that I pretty much always knew that whenever I had a daughter, my first daughter, I would pass on Sunderland as her middle name because, like I said, it's my mom's middle name, my middle name, and then it travels right up the tree. And I thought I just think it's a neat, special family thing to pass on. And we chose Nora as her first name, sort of we just loved it. And I just had this. It's not a name that had ever been on my radar before. And once we found out that we were pregnant with a daughter and we started talking about names, it just kept bubbling to the surface. And Allie and I, my sister and I were talking about it. It's almost like the babies pick their own name. Sort of like I just knew that her name was Nora. And we tried kind of like tested out other names, you know, and we were just like, no, that's not, her name is Nora. And so we settled on Nora Sunderland and I just like fell in love with it. And that was sometime in the early summer. Well, in like the mid or late summer, my mom's oldest sister, my Aunt Kathy, called me. And it was like one morning, it was like 10 a.m. on like a Wednesday or a Thursday. And she called me and she said, actually, she texted me and then I called her because I was in so much shock. She texted me and she said, I was working on family genealogy over the weekend and I don't know if you've chosen a name for your daughter, but I just wanted to share a couple of names with you. And she said, my very favorite one is speaking to me, is your great-great-grandmother's name. And her first and last name was Nora Sunderland. And that's literally exactly how she wrote it. My favorite one is your great-great-grandmother's name, Nora Sunderland. And then she, after that, wrote a few more sentences and shared a couple other names. And I was in such shock, I just instantly called her. And we had kept the name quiet. I hadn't shared it online, and it was just private. And so I called her and I said, you know, we're really not sharing the name yet, but her name is Nora Sunderland. I said, we've already gotten personalized and monogrammed things like that. We've settled on that name. And we were just in so much shock. I had no idea it was a family name, and I certainly had no idea that Nora Sunderland was a family name. I thought that was amazing. So that really sealed the deal for us. I mean, we had already chosen, like I said, and we'd already gotten monogrammed things and whatever, but that certainly was like, okay, yeah, this is definitely meant to be her name. And then come to find out, on Riley's side of the family, he had a great aunt who his mom was always really close to or really loved, and her name was Nora, spelled the same way, N-O-R-A. And so, really cool, super cool. So that was her name. I realized that here I am introducing her. I never even shared like her birth stats. So she was born on October 30th, 2019. She was, like I said, 8 pounds, 9 ounces. She was born at 3:09 p.m. So I went into labor around 3 o'clock a.m. And so, well, like I said, I had been having kind of prodromal labor for several days. But like I kicked into active labor around 3 a.m. So my total time in labor was about 12 hours. And she was 21.5 inches. So she is like all legs. We put her in newborn like footy PJs or whatever, her little legs are just so long. They they don't fit. They have to be all squished up and frogged up. So this outfit that Brogan sent is 0 to 3 months, so it has a little bit more leg room. But we found that there are certain brands that have more leg room than other brands of baby clothing, and so that we've been kind of leaning towards those because I think she's gonna, both Riley and I actually, with regards to our height, what's that called? I don't know, like our leg to height ratio, we both have really long legs. I have an extremely short torso but really long legs, and Riley, obviously, he's 6'4", he's quite tall. So I think she's gonna have super long legs, and she might kind of take after her daddy and be a little bit on the taller side, so we'll have to see. But she's, like I said, gaining weight nicely, so those are her birth stats. It's funny, with an October 20th due date, I was picturing her to be born in the middle of the month at some point. And she was born at the tail end. And Riley loves Halloween. It's just not my favorite holiday. I don't enjoy anything like horror related. I don't like creepy stuff. It's just not my thing, and I really don't enjoy dressing up very much. So I was not, I have to tell you, at being almost like 42 weeks, I'm like, listen, I do not want to have this baby on Halloween. I have worked so hard through this pregnancy. I don't want a Halloween baby. Riley, on the other hand, really wanted a Halloween baby. So I will say though, as the days got closer, I was like, you know what, I'll have this baby on any holiday, any day, anytime. I'm just ready to have this baby. But she came on the 30th, just right in the nick of time. And the neat thing is that actually she shares her birthday with Riley's grandfather, who is 93 years old. So they are exactly 93 years apart. And we haven't taken her out to meet him yet, but we will. And well, we'll see him at Thanksgiving here in just a couple of days. And we're gonna take a picture, the two of them. He's not like a super baby person, but hopefully we can convince him, or at least maybe Riley can hold her and squat next to him and take a picture with him, because it's pretty cool to be 93 years, almost a century apart. Really cool. Anyway, wow, I've been talking for 17 minutes. I just have missed being on here, and I wanted to check in and say hey to everyone and tell you that we are doing well, but don't be fooled. We're doing well, but don't be fooled. Like, we are struggling through postpartum and new parenthood and newbornhood just as much as anybody else. But we're so grateful for her, and that she's healthy and she's doing well. And that I'm healing and recovering really well, and that things, like breastfeeding are getting easier and going better day by day. So I'll talk more about all of these different things, I'm sure, in videos to come. But I've been sharing little tidbits on Instagram. So sorry, the camera's starting to shake. My hand's starting, I'm just holding it. On Instagram. So if you are on Instagram and you want to follow along, I've been sharing little pictures of her from, time to time, and little videos and things like that. But I wanted to pop on here to YouTube and make sure to share the wonderful news that baby Nora is here and she's doing well, and we are so in love with her, and she is sleepy right now after that photo shoot. So we are gonna go, I don't even know what time it is or even really what day it is right now. So I'll probably go find something to eat for myself and feed her and lay her down for a nap and rest and something. It's just all the days right now. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. And yeah, this is the newest Lamb family member, baby Nora. Precious little baby with her little, yeah, look, her hair looks super blonde there, huh? But anyway, I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks again for watching. And I don't know exactly when this video is going up, but if you celebrate Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving, because that should be here in just a few days, I would imagine. And I will talk to you guys soon. Bye. Here she is. Just sleeping.